Hello and welcome to this video about the structure of a C program. As you may know, most programming languages have a structure, and the C language is no exception. A C program is typically divided into 6 sections, which are the documentation section, the link section, the definition section, the global declaration section, the main function section, and the subprograms section. Although the main section is mandatory, the others are optional. First, we will focus on the first component of a C program structure, which is the description section. This section is used to provide information about the program, such as the author name, the creation or modification date, and any other relevant details. To add information in the description section, we use comments. Comments in C are lines of text that are ignored by the compiler while executing the program. There are 2 ways to write comments in C. The first way is to use the /*, then at the end, */ symbols. Any text written between these symbols will be considered a comment by the compiler. This type of comment can span multiple lines. The second way to write comments in C is to use the // symbol. Any text written after this symbol on the same line will be considered a comment by the compiler. This type of comment is useful for adding short descriptions or notes to the code. Here's an example of how to write comments in the description section. /*. Author, Roy S. Date created, April 2, 2023. Description. This program calculates the sum of 2 numbers. */. In this example, we have used the multiple comment symbol to create a multi-line comment. We have added the author name, the date created, and a brief description of the program. Adding comments to your code is a good programming practice, as it makes the code more readable and understandable for yourself and other developers. Next is link section. The link section is an optional part of a C program structure. It is used to specify the external libraries or files that the program needs to link with in order to run. These external libraries or files contain pre-written code that can be used in the program without having to rewrite it from scratch. The syntax for adding the link section to a C program is as follows. #include, in angular brackets, library or file, .h. Here's an example of how to add the link section to a C program. #include, stdio.h. In this example, we have included the stdio.h library, which is a system library that provides input and output functions for the program. This file contains input-output functions like printf, scanf, etc. Next is definition section. The definition section is used to define constants and macros that can be used throughout the program. Constants are values that do not change during the execution of the program, while macros are pieces of code that can be reused multiple times in the program. To define constants in the definition section, we use the #define, then preprocessor directive. The syntax for defining constants is then the keyword define, then constant name, and the value. In the syntax, constant name refers to the name of the constant, and value refers to the value of the constant. Here's an example of how to define constants in the definition section. #define pi 3.14159. We know that pi is a constant, and by defining a constant value we can use that particular value throughout the program. Another one. #define max value 100. Here, max value is defined with a value 100. Next is global declaration section. The global declaration section is used to declare variables and functions that can be accessed from any part of the program. These variables and functions are called global variables and functions, respectively. A global variable in C is a variable that can be accessed and modified from any part of the program. This means that the variable's value is available to any function or block of code within the program. Global variables are declared outside of any function and have a global scope, which means they are visible to all functions and blocks of code within the program. One of the advantages of using global variables is that they can simplify a program by allowing different functions to share data. Now we can check an example. In this example, we are declaring one global variable, total, which is of integer type. So this variable, total, can store integer numbers and can be accessed by any function throughout the program. I'm also declaring a global function named sum, with no return type and arguments. We will discuss about the functions, return type and arguments later in this course. Next section is main function section. The main function section is a fundamental component in a program. It is the starting point of execution for every C program. It contains the code that will be executed when the program runs, and it is a mandatory component of any C program. The main function has a specific structure that must be followed. It starts with the return type followed by the declaration of the function name, main, then parentheses. In this example I am using return type, void. After the parentheses, the function body is enclosed within curly braces. This is where we write the code that the program will execute when it runs. Now, go back to the example program. Here's how the main function is declared in C programming when it has a void return type. Void, main, then parenthesis. Inside the curly braces, we will use printf function to display a string, hello world, on the console. The printf function is a library function that is included in the standard input-output header file, studio.h. It is used to display text on the console. Your first program is ready to compile and run. Look, this is a simple program, and we doesn't even require definition section and global variables. So you can delete it, or comment those lines. Here, I'm commenting these lines. Now, check for errors. Before compiling, you may save the program. I'm saving this as hello.c. Extension of AC program is C. This is the saved location. And there is your program, hello.c. Now compile the program. Hit the compile button. No errors and warnings. If there is no errors, we know that the compiler will generate an object file, and then the linker will produce the executable file. Check the location. This is your object code and executable file. Now, you can run your program. Click on the Run button. You can see the result on the console. String is printed on the console. Hello world. Next section is Subprogram. Subprograms are also known as functions. The subprogram section of AC program contains user-defined functions. Functions are a set of statements that perform a specific task. They are used to break down a large program into smaller, more manageable tasks. To declare a function, we need to provide the function name, return type, and the parameter list. The return type specifies the type of value that the function will return, such as int, float, or void. The parameter list specifies the type and number of arguments that the function will accept. We will discuss about the functions and different types later in this course. At this stage we can write an example code. In this program, I am going to include a user-defined function called sum with return type void. In the function, sum, I will include two local variables of type integer, number 1 and number 2, with values 50 and 40 respectively. Another variable, total, can be used to store the result. Since I have declared a global variable sum earlier, the same can be used here. Uncomment that global declaration line. Now, the variable total, equal to number 1 plus number 2. Please note, every instructions will end with a semicolon. To print the result, use printf function. %d is used to print the output format in decimal integer. Close the quotes, then comma and the variable to be printed. OK. Then we have to call this function, sum from the main function. From the main function, I'm going to call user-defined function sum. At the end, I'm printing as end. When you run this program, it will start from the main function. Print hello world, then from here it is calling the user-defined function, sum. Now it will jump to this function. Execute these lines and output will be printed. Then it will come back to the main function from where the subprogram is called. After that it will execute the last command of the program, which is to print end. Now we can compile the program. No errors and warnings. Now run the program. You can see the hello world and the result line are printed on the same line. In order to print the result line on the next line, use escape sequence \n at the beginning of the result line. Now, we can compile and run the program. Here is the result. So, this is the basic structure of a C program. We will discuss more about data types, variables, constants and escape sequences in the next class. Thank you for watching.